I'd like to talk about how we harmonize the cadences by using 4 principal cadences: 4th to 1 plagal cadence, 5th to 1 perfect cadence, and 5th to 6 interrupted cadences, and any chords to 5th imperfect cadences. So as you can see, there are 4 cadence points. So this is cadence 1, this is cadence point 2, this is cadence point 3, and then this is cadence point 4, which is the final cadence. So final cadence point, you must use either 4th to 1 plagal cadence or 5th to 1 perfect cadences. Alright, so we're trying to use all 4 principal cadences to harmonize the cadences in this section, alright? Okay, so now let's start off with the first cadence, right? So that is F sharp. So the 6th chord contains the F sharp, and then the 5th chord contains the E. So I'm trying to build up 5th to 6th interrupted cadences. So now you have to go through the steps you need to take to build up 5th to 6th interrupted cadences, right? So root goes to the bass, 7th note followed by the tonic, and then the 6th chord you must double the 3rd instead of the 1st, and then 2 parts move up, 2 parts move down. So these are the rules that you must remember before you start building up the cadence. All right, so 5th to 6th. So this is in key of A major. All right. Okay, so what are the chord tones of a 6th chord? A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So F sharp, A, and then C sharp, and then we're doubling the 3rd, A, right? Okay, so now let's write down the chord tones of the 5th chord, A, B, C, D, E. So E chord, G sharp, B, and E, all right? So the root is already there on the bass, right? So let's tick, okay, it's the F sharp, and the E, right, already there. Yes, all right. And then the 7th note is followed by tonic. So what is 7th note of A? So G sharp. So G sharp to A. Okay. All right. And then these parts moving up. So the remaining 2 voices must move down. So B to A, moving down. All right. E to C sharp. So you're finished, right? So stems up for the soprano and the tenor, okay? And then stems down for the alto, okay? And then the bass already given, all right? So now let's work on the cadence point number 2. So this one, let's see which cadence we can use. This part, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so it's the 5th chord. All right, and then trying to figure out which chord we can use before chord number 5. So A, B, C, D, D. Okay, so 4th to 5th. So what is the rule that you have to remember to build up 4th to 5th imperfect cadences? Because the bass note will move up by step, the remaining voices must move down. That's what you need to remember. Only the bass notes will move up by step, and then the remaining 3 voices must move down. So that is the rule that you need to remember. Okay, so let's write down the chord tones of the 5th chord, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so E, G sharp, B, and E. Let's write down the chord tones of the subdominant, A, B, C, D. Okay, so D, F sharp, A, D. So the A and then G already there. So tick. All right, and then this one, the root goes to the bass. Root goes to the bass, and then D, E. So this is stepping up. Obviously, it's a 4th to 5th. So bass notes will move up by step. So remaining 3 voices must move down. That's the rule of building up 4th to 5th imperfect cadence. All right, and so this one done. So F sharp followed by E, okay, and D followed by B. So only the bass steps up, right? And the remaining 3 voices moving down. So let's do the stem, okay. All right. So we have talked about how we can use perfect cadence and plagal cadence at the final cadence points, but you don't have to always use them at the final cadence points. You can basically use it anytime you want, but when you're using those cadences, perfect cadence and plagal cadence is not at the final cadence point, you must use as a variation of cadences, which means one of the chord must be in inversion. So when you're using fourth one, either fourth chord or the first triad has to be in inversion. If you're using fifth one, either fifth chord or the first triad must be in inversion. So that is the top of cadence that we're gonna build up here. So here I'm using fourth one plagal cadence, not at the final cadence point. So I'm trying to use a variation of plagal cadence, right? I'm trying to use the fourth chord in first inversion. Alright, and then the chord one I'm gonna use as in the root position. So let's write the chord tones of a tonic triad of A major. So A, C sharp, E, and A. Alright, the fourth chord, subdominant of A major is A, B, C, D. So D chord, so I'm writing down the chord tones of D chord. Alright, and so I'm having the F sharp, the third on the bass. F sharp. And then the A on the bass. Okay, so the root on the bass, right? Okay, so this is done. And then the top note, the soprano is already there, so I'm trying to get rid of that. So D and then C sharp, trying to tick. Okay, all right. And then can you find the common tone here? Yes. So that goes in the tenor voice, and then whatever's left. All right. So the A, and then F sharp. Okay, to E. All right, so that's done. Okay, so F sharp to E. Okay, so stems down, up for the tenor, down for the bass. So finally, it's the final cadence point, which ends with the fifth one root position, authentic, perfect cadences. All right. Okay, so let's write down the chord tones of tonic triad: A, C sharp, E, and A. And then the fifth chord, the dominant, E, G sharp, B, and E. So root goes to the bass, which is already given. All right, and then seventh note is going to be followed by the tonic, the common tones, and then whatever's left. All right, so here we have the seventh note, G sharp. All right, G sharp followed by A. So that's done. And then the bass note's already there, so I'm gonna tick. Alright, and then can you find the common tone, which is E, goes to soprano, and then whatever's left. Okay, so B, and then C sharp. So